Good news, everybody. We've hit the Kev ratio. We're out of the relegation zone. All is good in the world. What were we all worried about? Hello and welcome to part 137 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two Premier League games for you. We're at home against Bournemouth and then away against Tottenham. Since you were last with me, we've started ever so slightly to turn our season around. We've had two back-to-back Premier League wins. In fact, we're on a run of two consecutive Premier League wins right now. I'm going to credit playing some friendlies against local opposition during international breaks. Now, it's not quite as awesome a solution as I hoped it would be, because the big issue with doing this is that all our international players are obviously off playing international football, so it's not quite a first choice team playing in these games, but it does seem to be getting game time into some important elements of the squad and just generally giving them a bit more of a winning mentality. And if you're Christian Nogueira, for example, and you've just scored 7 goals against West Bridgford, you're probably feeling quite confident going into this game against Bournemouth. But we did beat Brentford and then we beat Leeds as well, and this is how the Premier League looks at the moment, if it ever loads up. There it is. So after 11 games, we currently find ourselves sat in 15th place, 11 points from 11 games, so we're dead on the Kev ratio. Only 2 points outside of the relegation zone, but the team we play first today is Bournemouth, who are just 2 points above us, 1 place above us in the league. If we can make this a third successive win, goodness me, will things start to feel a little bit more comfortable. It has been a nice run of games. Brentford and Leeds. So it was Watford, Burnley, Brentford, Leeds, Bournemouth. So if we have a look, Watford we lost to, Burnley we lost to. No, Watford and Brentford we lost to. I don't even know where Brentford are. Brentford are bottom. Did we really lose to them? No, we beat... So, Watford and... Goodness me, Kev. So, Watford and Burnley we lost to, which wasn't a great start to playing all the worst teams in the division. But then we've beaten Leeds and Brentford, and now we play Bournemouth. So, I think, bearing in mind we were on a run of 16 games without a win going into these 5 games, then I guess 3 wins out of 5 would have been a good result. 2 wins out of 5. Not so much so we do need to win this first game against Bournemouth. We'll then lose against Tottenham because we're away against a better team, so obviously we're going to lose against them. And other good news, the board have given us an extra £30 million of transfer budget as well. So when the January transfer window does come around in about 5 weeks' time, we can strengthen the squad if we need to. Although, looking at dynamics, match cohesion is still a disaster. Players are still getting to know each other from before, so I don't know how wise it would be to bring in another 2 or 3 players to a squad that's already still struggling for match cohesion, so we might just leave the squad well alone if they're starting to play themselves into some kind of form. The other big news is I talked yesterday about how we'd gone back to the Oxford 4-3-1-2, taken off all team instructions, and we're adjusting mentality per match. I've not adjusted it away from counter-attacking yet. We are pretty much counter-attacking against everybody because everybody is better than us. There will be occasions where we need to push on and try and attack, but for now the plan is to move between counter, standard and control as the match situation dictates. We're just sitting on control pretty much all the time, on counter pretty much all the time, and it seems to be doing the trick at the moment, so I don't want to fiddle with things too much. So this is the team that we're going to be playing against Bournemouth. We've got Vujicic in goal, a back 4 of Robinson, because our wonder kid, Joksimovic, out for months. He's broken his foot. It was a 4-month injury or 5-month injury, I think, when it first happened. He's going to be out for another 3 months yet. So Robinson's getting a nice run in the team. So Robinson, Jones, Holmqvist and Carousel, still don't know. Fazio, Stojanovic and Mulan in midfield with Nuhu in behind Nogueira and Kraljevic. Kraljevic is coming into some kind of form. He's averaging a 7.16, 3 goals, 4 assists from 7 starts. He's looking the most likely to be our decent goal scorer, although remember, Nogueira did grab, I think, a couple of goals in our last game. Hang on. No, he scored once against Leeds and made one, but he did get those 7 goals against West Bridgford. So should be feeling confident coming into this game. Let's just get into it. Let's put ourselves out of our misery. Hopefully we've got it about us to find a way to beat Bournemouth. And then, I mean, we'd be ahead of the Kev ratio if we did that. That would be just remarkable. So let's get into the match. Yes, incentives, etc., etc. Right, I'm a little bit nervous because if we do lose this, all those wins are for nothing really. Because we find ourselves continuing to lose against teams who are basically on our level. What hope have we got when we play against the good teams if we can't beat the likes of Bournemouth and whoever else? But let's not think negatively today. Today is a day for positivity. Today is the day you finally get to see this latest incarnation of Nuneaton Town actually playing good football and looking like a decent team. If you're wondering why Hayes isn't in the team, he's coming back from an injury. I've not dropped my £15 million summer signing. Although looking at that, now we've had the international break and he's played a few games for the basically the leftovers who weren't on international duty. It actually looks like he probably is fit enough to come back into the team now. So that's an option for later on in this game or against Tottenham if we decide that we need him. Obviously we will need him. He's a £15 million midfield player. Of course we need him. We need him any opportunity there is to get him in the team. Although Stojanovic in midfield is getting a little bit grumpy that he isn't getting the game time that he felt he might have got. Although Fazio is on loan from Spurs, so he's not going to be able to play against them anyway. So that's an easy way for Hayes to come back into the team for the next match. Kraljevic just misses all the blue shirts there. Nogueira picks it up. It's with Robinson. Stojanovic to Nogueira to Mulan through to Kraljevic, and he hits the inside of the post and it bounces back. That was a good chance, but we've played ourselves into a good opportunity there. It's not just a big lumped ball forward or a cross. We've knocked that around nicely amongst 4 or 5 of our players and created a chance, and we haven't done that for so long. We've just done it again there with an opportunity for Mulan, and I am starting to get a little bit worried that we've now had 2 clear-cut chances and not converted them. This could be one of those games where if we don't score when we're on top, oh, we've got a penalty. Goodness me, do we need this penalty? Nuhu to take the penalty. I don't know if I've ever seen this man take a penalty. I don't think we've had a penalty yet this season. So it's Nuhu to take, and he scores. And just before half-time, it's Nuneaton 1, Bournemouth 0. And I can forget the sentence I was just starting. I was going to be a little bit afraid if we went in 0-0 at half-time. After controlling that first half, creating some good chances, that's just setting itself up for Bournemouth to come out and grab a winner in the second half. But we now go in at half-time in a much stronger position, and hopefully that will just kick them in the gut a little bit, so that we can come out for the second half buoyant, ready to grab a couple more, and Bournemouth just a little bit grumpy. Right, Fazio trying to find Aguero. It's nowhere near him. That was a poor pass, and we're not looking at player ratings. Although we created some chances, in theory, controlling the game, there's not really anyone playing particularly well. Mulan's having a good game in midfield as our new roaming playmaker. Yeah, that's the guy I signed as a ball-winning midfielder. But he's all right in this role. Nuhu's now picked up a knock, and we need to take him off because he's down to 50%, 58%, and he's only on a 6.6 despite grabbing a goal. That tells me he's having a terrible, terrible game, because normally a goal gives you a boost to like 1.5. Right, let's get Earl in behind the front two. We could probably have made our second change then as well, but can we do it? Yeah, there we go. Who else are we going to bring on? I'd like to grab another goal, so let's liven up the front two a little bit. Nogueira not having a very good game. We've got James Brown and Scott Eylis on the bench. We're going to bring Eylis on just because he can do complete forward, Brown can't. And I like having a complete forward in the team. As it stands right now, we're up to 12th in the league. If we can hold on, that's utterly ridiculous that we'll find ourselves 12th in the league after the start we've had to this season. Right, final substitution. Let's get Hayes on. We'll bring him on for Fazio. That's the change. That'll be what happens in the next game, and we'll probably make Mulan the ball-winning midfielder just there, and just have Hayes just floating around as the roaming playmaker, playmaking in a roaming manner. That's probably the midfield 3 we're going to play against Tottenham in the next game. So it won't do any harm to give them the opportunity to have 10 minutes together for the first time now. I probably could have put Mulan as a ball-winning midfielder in the middle and moved Stojanovic out as box-to-box or a Carrilero or something, but I didn't. Let's hope we don't lose now. Eylis forward to Stojanovic, and it's the 96th minute. I was going to say, give us a final whistle, for goodness sake. I know we've only done it through a penalty, but that is our 3rd Premier League win in a row, so I don't care how we get them. 3 Premier League wins in a row I couldn't imagine a scenario where that happened 1 episode ago. So I'm pretty happy with that. And now we go into the Tottenham game to take our medicine. Just the one change for the Tottenham game then, and it is the one that we talked about in the last match. Hayes comes into the team for, what's his face, whose name I can't remember. Fazio. I'm the best manager in the world. Because he is ineligible to play against his parent club. Hayes actually came through the youth team at Tottenham as well, so hopefully he's going to have one of those wanting to score loads of goals against his original club type games, because that would be awesome. We're going in on a counter-attacking mentality again. My assistant manager's insisting we should be going defensive and highly structured. We're just going to go counter and flexible because it's been working so far. This is the first real test of this new look system against proper opposition. We've made Moulin a ball-winning midfielder as well, rather than getting him out there as box-to-box, because it's what he's natural at doing. I don't think it'll do us any harm to have a ball-winning midfielder in there with the two fancy playmakers. What does the little star mean? I don't want to know. I don't want to risk ruining anything. We'll just get into the game. I'm sure someone will let me know down in the comments what the little star means. We have made an offer for a player, but he didn't want to come. This guy, it was a little bit of a cheeky offer, £58 million on the Never Never, just because he's a very good attacking midfielder. We don't have £58 million, and I didn't ever expect it to go anywhere, but I saw him on my scouted player thing and thought, Oscar was pretty good for us last year. He was a Turkish attacking midfielder. Let's just sit, but no, didn't even consider it. So I'm still not entirely sure whether I'm going to look to bring in any players in January. There's a couple who I was kind of looking at in the summer and either wasn't able to agree terms with or weren't able to agree prices with. There's an attacking midfielder called Wagner, who we agreed a price at like $9.5 million in the summer, and then he refused to come. Just a similar situation, didn't want to discuss terms with us. But I've noticed he's now on the transfer list with an asking price of $5 million at Lyon. So we might well go back in for him and maybe go and raid Stoke for a little bit more, because Stoke obviously relegated last year. There was a few of their players. They had a defender and a midfielder who I like the look of both of them, but they didn't want to discuss terms either. But now I'm trying to take advantage of the fact we're currently in a mid-table spot to try and bring in some players who are actually going to improve us. If we wait until January to do this, we might be back down in the relegation zone again. So I'm trying to act now, but we shall see. There will be news on that in the next episode. That goal Tottenham just scored, by the way, was our first goal that we've conceded in 4 Premier League matches. That little run of wins that we've been on was all built on keeping clean sheets, which, that's not how Kev does things, but what a pleasant experience it was. That's what you get when you buy a £27 million goalkeeper. Moulin now, what can he conjure up on the left-hand side? Cross comes in. It's scratching around. I don't know what scratching around means, but Kraljevic is there again. And, it's very poor goalkeeping from the Tottenham keeper. It was a nice little move. Good cross from Moulin, but I don't really know who was supposed to deal with it and why they didn't. But, yeah, there's 2 mistakes there. The Tottenham defender and goalkeeper have both made a bit of a hash of that, and Kraljevic is there to tuck it away. 1-1 after 4 minutes. I've just noticed Tottenham are playing an exploit system though, so we don't stand a chance. 3-4-3. Bunch of cheats, playing 3 strikers, all on complete forward on attack probably. Bit of long ball going on. Cheats. Yeah, I was looking at how to cheat. We talked about it yesterday. I decided I just couldn't bring myself to do it. The idea of playing 3 players in exactly the same position and then just hitting the ball a long way towards their heads, I cannot bring myself to do that. I don't care if we get relegated. I'm not doing the exploit. That's just wide. Tottenham, where are Tottenham in the league? Tottenham are, they're just above us actually. We think of Tottenham as being a Champions League team, but in actual fact, they're a mid-table opposition. They did lose 5-1 to Leicester in their last game as well. So if there was ever going to be an opportunity to grab a big Premier League scalp, with the form that we're in, it might be today. Nuhu is in. He knows that I'm after £58 million attacking midfielders. He needs to put in a performance today, because I think if I was going to bring in a player, attacking midfielder is the first position I'd want to strengthen, and then maybe a centre-back or a more defensively minded midfielder would be my thinking. But that means I'm probably going to go and buy a couple of strikers, or maybe a winger that'll stick in the under-23s. You've seen my transfer policy before. What a save there! I tell you what, I thought I was mad spending £27 million on him, but some of the saves he makes are utterly ridiculous. And Tottenham have had 3 clear-cut chances today, only scored once. And you got to thank Vujic. I don't even know how to say his name. That's the problem with these Serbian names. I can't get my tongue around pronouncing them. We might have to give them all nicknames. Right, Hayes in midfield. It's the first we've seen of him today, and it's very scrappy. I think our front three against their back three, we're definitely causing them problems, because every time we break forward, especially when one of our midfielders breaks forward to join the front three, their defence panics like nobody's business. Here we go again. Kraljevic can't quite get through a sea of Tottenham centre-backs, and now they're in again, and there's a man over in the middle, and he nearly got there for another save, didn't he? I mean, that was just poor defending on our part. We'd committed too many men forward to try and take advantage of the numbers advantage that we have when we do attack, and it left us massively exposed at the back. I don't understand how we've ended up with just one defender. Vujic. No idea. He's looking at that thinking, I mean, seriously, I'm only one man, I can only do so much. Nogueira to Mulan, and now we've got the chance to counter-attack quickly again, and it goes to Stojanovic. And he's running that's not a quick counter-attack, little fella. Kraljevic now plays it through to Nuhu, and he grabs another instant equaliser. It's 2-2 after 25 minutes, and I tell you what, we can do a pacey counter-attack. I don't know what Stojanovic was doing there other than just orchestrating everything around him and getting everyone in positions. But Hayes plays it through properly. I haven't got words today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm recording this video very early in the morning, and clearly I've lost the ability to put coherent sentences together. Perhaps we'll just subtitle it with what I meant to say. I'm not going to subtitle it with what I meant to say. That sounds like far more work than I'm going to be able to put in. Right, Tottenham are coming at us again, and of course, as much as we have a numbers advantage when we're attacking, they also have a numbers advantage when they're attacking, because they've got 3 strikers up against our 2 centre-backs, because our 2 full-backs are very much pushing on all the time. This is going to be a high-scoring game, and that's a big chance to miss, and was that their 4th or their 5th clear-cut chance of the game? But we have a corner just before half-time, but it doesn't even beat the first man. But Hayes is there to collect, finds Mulan, who's got a little bit of time and space, but just wastes it completely. And now Tottenham are going to break back on us and once again have men over, particularly 2 men spare on this far side, and one of them tucks it away. And, yeah, both of us are going to rip the other one apart when we attack quickly, because players are going to be pulled out of position and they're going to have numbers. We just have to hope that we score more than they do, or at least as many as they do. But, yeah, no right back. Although I can see him there. Carousel is in there. I know that's probably not how you say his name, but it's the closest I'm going to get. Carousel. Kraljevic to Nuhu, not Nutu. Nuhu. Oh, Kev. Sign some English players. You've got £30 million to spend. Sign some players whose names you can say. Stojanovic to Hayes to Mulan to Hayes again. Look how close together our midfield 3 are. That was a bit weird. And now Tottenham are just slicing through us again, and it's 4-2. And any hopes we had of keeping pace with their goal-scoring threat is now gone, I think. The best we can hope for at this point is they look at the first half, think, right, we've scored 4 goals here. Let's drop back to a 4-5-1 or something, and then we can take advantage of that. This is one of those games we were supposed to lose. Remember, we look through the games at the start of the season, look at the ones we're supposed to win, supposed to lose. Tottenham away, we were always supposed to lose. And even if we do, and when we do, we're still ahead of the Kev ratio. We're still not in the relegation zone. So who cares if we get thumped by Tottenham? And they have changed their system. They've gone to a 4-2-3-1, so they're no longer going to have that overwhelming numbers advantage when they attack. So if we can get at them a little bit now, we should probably stop counter-attacking. Let's go to control and just try and come at them at this point. If they're adjusting to a more defensive system, we need to push on and fill those gaps and attack them. Although it's taken us 25 minutes and we've still not had a highlight, so I guess they've just shut up shop completely. What can we do to try and change this game? Mulan. We don't have a central midfielder to come on for you. Nogueira. We have lots of strikers. Let's get Venner on. We haven't seen Venner for a little while, who apparently can no longer play as a complete forward, despite the fact that he was doing it last year. So we'll make him a target man. In fact, I am going to take Mulan off and bring Earl on, and we can stick Nuhu back into midfield. If we just shuffle a few people around a little bit. And stick you there. And you there doing that. Let's do that. Have we got... we haven't really got any... We've got a lot of defensive-minded players and a lot of strikers on the bench. We don't really have anything in between the two. We need some in-betweeners. And I thought that was going to be the 5th Tottenham goal there. In fact, is it a penalty? No, offside. When the game just stops like that, I assume we've given away yet another penalty. Hayes plays it forward to Venner, to Earl. Kraljevic, back to Venner again, plays it through to Stojanovic, who turned brilliantly and can't find a way past the Tottenham goalkeeper. But that was a nice move. Came through Venner. I like Venner. There's Venner again. And I want him to learn to play complete forward. If he can play complete forward again, like he did last season, then I'd be happy to have him back in my team. I don't know why he's suddenly not able to do it. I'm hoping that's just a glitch with the game, and we should probably just play him as a complete forward anyway, because we saw him do it successfully for so much of last year. Now 5-2 to Tottenham. We're not, like I say, we're not going to worry too much about this. This is just one of those games that's going to happen from time to time. It gives the negative Nellies something to chat about down in the comments. Jones has been rubbish. Let's bring Brodic on. I mean, it's not a game-changing substitution, but it does tell Jones not to be so rubbish in future. And plus, I think Brodic and Holmqvist, that's the future of our centre-back partnership. Once they're both a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, once they've started to fulfil some of their potential, they're our back two. So it doesn't hurt to get them into the team together in circumstances where they're only likely to concede more goals. That's management for you. Hey. At least we're still ahead of the Kev ratio. We're 14th in the league. None of you thought we'd be 14th in the league at this point, so I'm taking this as a roaring success again, even though we've been absolutely hammered today. Although, to be fair, clear-cut chances-wise, 7-5 to Tottenham. We've been creative. We've just not been able to keep them at bay. We've been ruined by them using an exploit. We probably should have a counter to their 3 up front, but we don't. So we'll just get battered by it once a season. I can live with that. Oh, things are slowly starting to look up if we pretend Tottenham didn't happen. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.